The real rapture is happening, and these motherfuckers don't see it. Luca Big Pants. My theory so far, evil gas, invisible laser beam. No, my favorite is that this actually separates, this actually will cause anti-Semitic infighting. Okay, are you ready for this? Here's why it's going to cause anti-Semitic infighting. For the real anti-Semitism enjoyers, the real heads, no. One of the oldest anti-Semitic conspiracies is that the Pope is secretly controlled by the Jews. They think that, you know, the entire Catholic Church, the entirety of the Vatican is controlled by Jews. So this is going to cause a separation between the different anti-Semites, because some of them are going to say, well, the Pope is controlled by the Jews, and that's why J.D. Vance assassinated him, because, I don't know, he's just, he's based. He's my based Omega Groiper-pilled secret neo-Nazi who is hiding their secret base levels or whatever. But then the other people are also going to be mad because they're going to say J.D. Vance actually killed him because the Pope has been too critical of Israel. J.D. Vance used the new secret Israeli poison to kill the Pope. Now, of course, the reality is the Pope was 88 years old, okay? Just let's make no mistake here. This is not like a, oh, he died so young type situation. Like, oh, how could this have happened? Like, he was very sick and he was very much 88 years old. I'm pretty sure that part of the reason why part of the reason why they allowed this woke Pope to be Pope to begin with was because he was already living on borrowed time when they were like, oh yeah, we'll just slot this guy in. Maybe we'll tweak the Catholic churches. Maybe we'll tweak the Catholic churches like PR a little bit. Okay, because we've been getting kind of a bad rap with all the pedophilia and also all the Nazi stuff. Then he just survived. He just stayed alive for a lot longer than the expectation was. And in the process, he actually rebuilt the covenant too. I'm going to get into this because like this has been a quiet fascination of mine. Given the Pope's background, I've talked about this before. I have quietly been fascinated with all of the inner machinations of the Catholic Church, especially when I found out that they just have pieces of bones of saints that they just ship off to every church around the planet. I think that's the most metal thing you can do. Okay. When I found that out, I was like, this is kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's freaky, but it's also kind of sick. Anyway, this Pope is woke. Okay. He is significantly more woke than any other Pope that has ever existed. And, you know, that was unexpected. Certainly. That was definitely unexpected. He is a Pope that followed, ironically enough, the socialist tradition, which is hilarious to think because, you know, that's kind of what Christianity is supposed to be about, you know? Like, think about it. What is heaven but a utopian, communist, classless, moneyless, borderless, stateless society? That's what heaven is. That's the prize. Jesus himself, kind of a brown socialist when you think about it. Anyway, so yeah, first non-European Pope in 1,300 years, first Latin American Pope, and he was definitely, I think, the best Pope. I don't know like all the, you know, I don't know the 265 others, but in terms of like the latest popes, I would say that this guy was so far above, so much better. First of all, he wasn't a Nazi. So that's like immediately you're like, you have elevated above many of the previous popes. Like the fact that the only like conservative perspectives that he had was that, you know, no women still and also no abortion is crazy. He was pro-trans, dude. He was pro-trans. Like that is psychotic. You can't have a pope. You can't have the leader of Catholicism be more woke than a fucking beloved child's book author, J.K. Rowling. Do you understand? He wasn't pro-trans. Dog, he invited trans people to the Vatican, dude. What are you talking about? That is the most pro-trans you will get as the Pope. Like, we're talking about the Pope. When we talk about the Pope being progressive, it's not going to look like the sweaty anarchists in your commune. Yes, the Pope wasn't abiding by Z-Zir pronouns. I know. He was 88 years old. It's so funny because, like, I think this caused a major rift within the different Catholic, the different Catholic churches in, like, America, too, because the American one is, like, freakish. I'm putting my vote for the Swagapino Pope, by the way. Just Pinoy gang. Much respect. Hopefully he'll be the one. I was looking into the background of all the other popes as well. There's a really funny list out there of all of the different positions of all of the other like top contenders. And obviously we'll look into that as well. Who are the favorites to succeed Pope Francis? Now, one of the things that Pope Francis did, by the way, I'm going to get to his background in a second, but one of the things that Pope Francis did while he was alive, all the way up until the very last moment, because he knew he was living on borrowed time, was to basically bring in a bunch of super progressive popes, super progressive priests into the covenant. Like, he packed the courts, or cardinals, not priests, sorry. He packed the internal machinations of voting for the next pope. I'm sure you guys have watched Conclave, so you're like somewhat familiar with it. But he added a bunch of cardinals that were woke as fuck with the hopes that he could continue his legacy of moving the Catholic Church in a progressive direction. Yeah, please read the clear confusion. He welcomed trans people and even trans sex workers, but was against gender-affirming surgeries and the idea that gender was fluid. Yes. If there's an American pope, I will kill myself. Dude, the American Pope is one of the worst. The American Pope sucks. He is dog shit. I cannot stress this enough. Shocking absolutely nobody. I must repeat, the American Pope is a fucking awful. The German one, I think, is the Pope that I saw that was talking about how Muslims are actually invading Europe. That's another demon. I think we're due for another Nazi Pope, okay? The Catholic Church could not maintain this like woke outlook for as long as it did. I'm telling you, if the German one becomes a Pope, it's gonna be devastating. Yeah, here, this is the important part of it. 108 out of the 135 cardinals who are going to be eligible to vote in the next papal conclave were consecrated by Francis. Like, I'll concede that this doesn't necessarily mean Tegel is a lock to win or anything, but the chance that the next pope is going to suddenly be antithetical to Francis is very low. He was a kind and humble guy. He did know how to play palace politics. He stacked the odds. I've seen most of the front runners listed as conservative, though. Francis seemed to prioritize cardinals for diversity of the Master Church's global presence, which makes a lot of sense, but from what I read, it doesn't seem like he was selecting for ideological alignment. It's 110, not 108, but yeah, god damn, you guys are so locked in on Catholicism. It's crazy.
The customs of the Catholic Church are clear and carefully orchestrated.
Dude, this is kind of sick. Like, look. I'll say it like this. In this day and age where everything is McDonald's, everything is burger, everything is gun burger, it is kind of cool to see these guys like do something so silly, okay? Do something so insane where they just like still dress like this. They go to the same institution that has been around for a thousand plus years. Like, it's cool. It's cool when everything's computer, but the Pope is not computer. I like that. I like that. That's like kind of cool. I think it's dope. This is why so many ex-Catholics love Warhammer 40K. Yeah. Catholicism is low-key goth and metal-ish while also being mean girls in red robes. Yeah.
Once the period of mourning is done, the centuries-old tradition to elect a new Pope known as the conclave.
I love the aesthetic of the Catholic Church, but despise the molesting of kids. Yeah, no shit. Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I agree.
And shrouded in secrecy gets underway. Over the next 2 weeks, cardinals under the age of 80 from across the globe will descend on Vatican City, holding a series of formal meetings known as general congregations, and more informal, direct conversations too.
And keep in mind that cardinals are human beings, they're political animals.
5 gifted subs
as well. They will be meeting in various places. You know, Cardinal X will say to Cardinal Y, I've been
like, this in my opinion is way cooler than, you know, the British monarchy. Like, I don't know why, but I think this is, I don't know why, but I find this to be like way cooler than I don't know, the shit that like the British monarchy does and all of the bells and whistles associated with it.
Talking about this to Cardinal Zed.
You would have been a hilarious Catholic.
Let's go have a pizza.
It all comes down to the voting. The process so fascinating, so mysterious, it's been recreated in the blockbuster hit Conclave.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
And 1.25 billion souls watching.
The word conclave comes from